Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart 84, and a little bit of fun today possibly. I'm going to try one of the 3 Medlars that I've got off my tree. Now I've never tasted Medlar before, excuse me, and as far as I'm concerned it's probably best treated as a fruit suitable for making into Medlar jelly, or potentially jam it might be, but I think Medlar jelly is what they're usually used for. Now you can't eat the fruits until they've effectively started to rot. If you leave them on the trees, it's called bletting. When they get frosted and they go squashy like this, but if you try and eat them hard, I think they're completely inedible, and they're meant to be, I would imagine they're probably astringent. Now I've seen people taste these and they've all agreed that they're nothing worth eating, but what they are useful for is if you want a winter fruit that you can cook and using things, they'll be ideal for that. But I've heard reports of a couple of European growers who grow them, who said that there are a couple of named varieties that are actually quite sweet and can be eaten firm off the tree. But that doesn't appear to be the case for most Medlars. And basically this is going to look like a squashy brown mush inside when I cut it in half. But I'm interested to see if the flesh is in any way edible. I've left it as long as possible. So we'll just cut this in half and have a look at it. I've deliberately left it as long as possible so it gets to this sort of squashy, rotted stage. Well, not so much rotted, but it looks like it's rotted. So this is how I believe they're meant to be from what I've seen, and this is the stage you would cook them down and make a jam or jelly. But I'm curious to try the flesh to see. I mean, it obviously persimmons you leave to their squashy soft, but I'm just curious to see if this is in any way edible and what sort of seed they have in them. I hope I don't drop bits of it. Seems like it's got a couple of seeds in it, so let's see. So just pick up the bits that I dropped on my seat. Wow. How do you describe that? The seeds are very small, possibly not. Possibly not edible. I mean, not viable. That's bizarre. It's not really sweet. It's more savoury. It's got a slight tanginess to it. That might be because it's tainted slightly, because obviously you're letting them get to a rotted stage. I would imagine the way to deal with these is definitely to have a few of them and cook them down into a jelly as recommended in the old days. Now the colour is not dissimilar to like a very ripe sapodilla. It's got that browniness to it, graininess, but it's very grainy, the flesh, but they seem to have it's not something that I would recommend buying and growing, although obviously it's a very good cold climate fruit, so it's not something you need to be in the tropics for. They seem to perform apparently quite well in very cold climates and also in quite warm climates. I think they'll grow in the Mediterranean quite happily, and probably warmer places. I believe they do grow them in the Middle East, but I don't know what to make of it. It's not a fruit that I'd say you've got to go out and have, but if you were into your canning or preserving, it would probably be a really good fruit if you had a big enough garden. I'll have to try cooking some one day. I mean, obviously I only had the 3 fruits this year, so there's no way that I could possibly cook them, because there's nothing you can do with 3 fruits. You'd need probably a couple of pounds, like half a kilo in weight, to be able to make a jelly or jam. But I thought it'd be interesting just to try them, just to see what the flavour is like. They seem to have, I mean, for a small fruit, they seem to have 3 or 4 or 5 seeds in. So I don't think I could be bothered to eat them as a fresh fruit, but I'm presuming that as you cook them down, you simply, I would imagine you simply sift the seeds off. Anyway, so that's the Medlar. I'm not going to say you've got to go out and get them, because they've got a sort of unusual taste to them, but I think they probably make, like quinces, a very good jam or jelly. So if you've got a garden with enough space, it's probably worth buying one, but I don't think I'd say go out and buy one and grow in a container. It's probably not worth it unless you get a good quantity of it, which we may well do next year. It's definitely very pot bound, so I'll put it in a much bigger pot next year and see how many flowers set. It didn't like the extreme heat we had this year, that caused scorch on some of the fruits, which might be why they dropped prematurely, but I would imagine if we had our normal sort of summer, they'd be absolutely fine. Anyway, so that was the Medlar fruit. Thanks very much for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. You're welcome to share the video if you think anybody might be interested in a Medlar tasting, and remember to click on the bell if you want updates on new videos when they come out, and I'll see you in the next tasting video. Brett out for now.